Evening, everybody. My name is Micah Bournes, and I'm going to read a poem for you from my book, Here Comes This Dreamer. But I want to tell you a story first about where it came from. A few years back, when Barack Obama was still the president, he made an announcement saying that Harriet Tubman was going to replace Andrew Jackson on the face of the $20 bill. It still hasn't happened yet. Right now, it's another promise the American government has made to the black community and not fulfilled, but it's still supposed to happen. And I remember when the announcement was made, there was a lot of joy in the black community. I specifically remember getting on Facebook and seeing my friends post wild statuses like, yo, I can't wait to go to the bank. Like, let me get 300, all Tubmans only. That's all I ever want to use again. And I was like laughing, and I was happy to see the joy of my peers. But if I was being honest about what I felt, I had mixed emotions. It felt bittersweet, and I didn't really know why. But if I'm being honest, it felt more bitter than sweet. Until I came across this article, and I read this article about the city of Boston, and I was like, oh, this is why. This is why I can't celebrate. So this poem is titled, Lament for Mother Tubman. The median net worth for non-immigrant African-American households in the greater Boston region is $8. The household median net worth was $247,500 for whites. The color of wealth in Boston. A 2015 report by the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston, Duke University, and the New School. America promises to print Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill. A cruel and unusual honor. Let the faces of greed remain on their God. Give Caesar what belongs to Caesar, but keep my mama out your filthy palms. Remember all the nothing that changed when this nation literally tokenized Sacagawea in fake gold? Remember how indigenous people still live in squalor? You can't blackface a dollar and call it reparations. Newly bred Tubmans crammed into privileged wallets, sardined in bank vaults like the hulls of slave ships. Businessmen pass a pimp a stack of Harriets to rape a teenage sex slave with African hips, while Mother Tubman's daughters and sons struggle to keep the heat on. In Boston, a black father dies after decades of wanting to. New England's bitterness finally froze his will to hope. He left his family a modest inheritance, a suicide note apology, $8, and a special edition Celtics jersey. In Boston, a black mother dies after decades of refusing to. After freedom marches and protests, after cancer stole both breasts, after spending her savings on saving herself, she leaves her daughter a closet full of church hats, an award-winning cornbread recipe, and a family Bible with $8 hidden in Philippians 4:19. My God will supply every need. America really believes they doing us a favor, painting our faces on their dreams. Writing "In God We Trust" on this blasphemous economy, assigning net worth to human beings. Life ought to be priceless, but only the breath of the highly appraised gets protected. No wonder this nation considered us more useful as slaves. Capitalism ascribes an $8 value to free black lives. If Mother Tubman were alive today, she would need 2.5 selves before she was worth the weight of her very own bill. When I read that article, everything clicked. Black households worth $8, white households worth $247,500 in the same city. And I thought about Harriet Tubman. And I thought about the fact that she was born into the system of slavery, which was driven not by racism, but by greed. Free labor. They invented racism to justify their exploitation of black folks because they were greedy. They wanted money, right? And so this greed-driven system that she was born into and refused to accept. She risked her life by escaping, and that wasn't enough for her. She risked her life again and again and again to help other people escape this system driven by greed. And you know what the American government did in response to her revolution? They put a dollar amount on her head. They would pay you money to capture and kill this woman. That's what the American government did in response to the life of Harriet Tubman. And all these years later, centuries later, black folks, $8, $247,500. We're still excluded. We're still economically oppressed. And you want to honor her by putting her face on money? That's an insult. That's literally tokenism. I do not care if there is a black face on every dollar bill and every coin America prints. $8, $247,500. I want this gap to close. That is what I want. And so I tell people, I'm not angry about what happened hundreds of years ago. I'm upset about right now. And I don't care how many black presidents we have. Until this gap closes, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be pushing for justice.